Welcome to another episode of We're in Escrow. Does your home inspection have to kill the deal? This is one of the things we're talking to today with Debbie Mancini of A Harmony Home Inspections. Debbie Mancini has been in the industry for 40 years. So if you think she hasn't seen it all, and here in this episode, she tells us that she sees new things all the time. Well, today we're going to be talking about everything start to finish for what your home inspection means, how you can communicate with Debbie, particularly on the questions you have, and how it doesn't have to necessarily kill the deal. Stay tuned. Welcome to We're in Escrow with me, Jenny Butler of The Property Closers, the podcast that opens doors to a world of property, passion, and palate-pleasing discussions. From dissecting the current market to building wealth through real estate, invaluable tips for buying and selling, join me as we get to know real estate junkies in Pittsburgh and beyond. All right, welcome to We're in Escrow. We have Debbie Mancini here today with A Harmony Home Inspections. At least that's the company of hers that we're focused on today because this is a woman that does many things. And we're allowed to talk about that to start.
Okay.
But I wanted to start actually first about the lunch that you brought us from Enrico Biscotti.
Oh.
One of the things we say we want to do on our podcast here, which is just very self-serving for me, is to talk about palate-pleasing discussions. Is how we open up our podcast.
I'm all about food.
But you and me, you and I just love food.
We do.
So today, what were those called?
Well, they're little, I guess they're considered torts, right?
Okay.
And they were mini, and so we had a variety. We had mushroom and feta, I believe, and tomato and ricotta.
Oh, you're so Italian. I want to be Italian or Latino. I feel like if I did the 23andMe or what's the other one, Ancestry.com, that I'm holding on to hope there's this like 0.5 percentage that I'm Latino.
Honey, you know it ain't in the blood. It's right here.
Yes.
Right here.
I love my Irish roots, don't get me wrong. Those were delicious. Thank you. They were dense. That is what I love about that. Is like when you can get a crust that dense. I mean, oh my gosh. So I'm going to be trying to do
butter.
So thank you for lunch. Now we're doing little espressos and ready to chat.
That's right.
So can you just give us a few minutes? I know all of this. We've been friends for a very long time. But tell us just about the couple of different things that you do or have done and what's brought you here to me.
All right. So pretty well-rounded in the real estate industry.
No doubt.
I was a real estate agent for probably, I'm going to say 10 or 12 years, because there was a period that bled into when I started my first home inspection company. Okay. So almost 40 years in this industry.
Yes.
Yeah. Yay.
I think I'm at 23.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
we've got a lot of experience in this room.
I know, we do. We do. And, as much as we say we've seen it all, we always find something that we haven't seen before. And I love that because it keeps me on my toes. It sharpens the blade.
Yeah, absolutely.
But you also know I'm stuck in 5th grade and I write children's books. So I am a best-selling children's book author. So I love that.
We're book nerds.
We
always
are book
have
nerds.
been. We have our library section of the club here.
Love
and
that
Debbie is a member of our club at Blue Sapphire, which is so fun. And you've been so supportive. You're always bringing new people in. And we're really excited. We're going to do a book event, Ryan and I just decided, where we stock the shelves with books that inspire anyone who comes. Maybe write a little note in it, have a honor system share. So we're pumped about that. But
count me in.
You and I have had our discussions on writing and everything. But here today, we're talking real estate and specifically home inspections.
Correct.
And as we were kind of having our lunch, one of the things that I brought up is I feel like as long as we've been in the industry, 40 years, 23 years, we kind of stay in our own lane a bit. And I think it's okay that I couldn't tell somebody everything you do. I know what you do.
Right.
I know what part of the process you are. I know what a realtor does. I know what the tax, department do. But we stay in our lane and we do what we're best at. So admittedly, there's a lot of details about what you do that I don't pay any attention to because I don't have to.
Right.
That stuff comes through and we're like, hey, inspection's good, move forward. So where do we start?
So I think the biggest thing, first of all, staying in your lane is huge, absolutely huge. And building a team around you of people that you know, like, and trust that do those other lanes helps you do what you do better and supports you.
Love that.
Rather than sticking your neck out and saying something that really is maybe this much true and the rest is like, oh,
I agree with you because I do think on all sides of our industry, there are individuals that want to pretend they know it all. And maybe they believe that they have to present themselves well. And I just don't agree with that.
Right. I think that we get into the real estate industry because we're helpers and teachers. Everybody's nature in this industry, you want to help them find their best house. You want to help them make sure it's the right house. You want to help them get through closing, right? And so when you're helpful by nature, you just want to jump in and give them an answer. And we shouldn't be doing that in any arena that's not fully ours.
Right.
You can know a little bit, but once you know a little bit, your feet are going to be held to the fire for the parts that you didn't know.
And I think I made
That's
that mistake
liability.
a lot early in my career.
Early, we all did.
Mistake meaning like I felt like it was my job.
Right.
And even, which I think is a fair way to go about a lot of things, you'll say, well, let me get an answer for you. And that's great. However, now you're trying to regurgitate something that you maybe don't fully understand.
Right.
My method over the last 10 years has been, let me direct you to the right person.
Correct.
Here's who you need to talk to. Let it come from that person's
Right.
mouth who really knows what
Absolutely.
they're, chatting
Absolutely.
about.
And, I think too, we're moving at so much of a faster pace in the industry than we did 23 or 40 years ago. We feel like we have to have that answer like right now.
Yeah.
You don't. Deep breath, let's find out.
Right.
That's it.
Okay.
So what is a home inspection, really and truly? Structure, mechanical, environmental.
Okay.
That's what we do.
Those are the three pillars of
Those
this.
are the pillars of home inspecting. When I
Okay.
say structure, you're looking at everything from the roof on down to the basement. When I say mechanical, I'm talking electrical, plumbing, HVAC, all of the systems inside the home. And when I say environmental, that's a whole bunch of stuff. Radon. Pest inspections is also considered environmental.
Oh, okay.
So radon, pest, mold, lead, asbestos, all those things. Those are the environmental items, and there's a lot more, but those are the key points for environmental.
Yeah, we'll keep it high level. You know what I mean? That's is it the 60,000 foot view or the 30,000 foot view?
I don't know.
See what we can uncover
It's a
in
bird's
these
eye view.
podcasts? Bird's eye view. Okay.
We'll just
I never pretend I know what I'm
I know
talking about
me
too. If
either.
I don't, I just ask the question, even if we're on air here, so to speak. So you've been doing this a very long time. And one other thing I had asked you is you're not doing them personally anymore, right? You're doing more of them. I mean, you've had your company for quite a long time.
long time. I'm certified in everything, but right now I've got the most amazing team set up.
Cool.
And I let them do what they do best. I hire the most amazing people, and I do not micromanage because they're great. They don't need me hovering over them. And I don't have time because I'm doing all my own marketing. I'm doing all of my own follow-up when a buyer has questions after an inspection. My inspectors are all on to their next ones.
Oh, and then you're handling
So
that. Okay.
hit me with it. What do you need to know? Now, if it's something technical that I need to find out because I wasn't there, I will find out from my inspector, and then I'll bring that back to the buyer and or agent. But a lot of my time is spent just explaining things. And I think that being a woman in a male-dominated industry helps me in that arena because it's that mommy touch. I want to make sure all my little ducklings understand that they all know what's going on, that they're making good, comfortable decisions moving forward. And that's my job. So I'm really good at that. I always tell people I'm a mom before I'm anything else.
Yes.
And that's the way I do
matter
everything
which hat
I do.
you're wearing.
Exactly.
Okay.
I tackle everything I do, whether I'm dealing with an employee or whether I'm dealing with a client or an agent. How would I want that person to talk to one of my kids
Right.
if they were in that position?
I talked to my team about that too. I'm like, how would you talk to your sister if they were going through this transaction?
Exactly.
It's a totally different tone.
Right.
And it's like, oh, I feel that frustration.
Yeah.
Let me see what I can do for you. You know
Right.
that I can make a couple calls. If we could do that across the board
Correct.
with our clients, it's a different feel.
Yeah. And I've done that with clients on the phone when they call me and they're like really strung out. I'll go, okay, I am going to just ask you to just take a deep breath. I am going to mommy the heck out of you right here.
Set the stage. Let them know what we're doing.
Usually I can hear the shoulders relax and then I usually hear a giggle,
Yeah.
because, okay, mom,
Now we're in a different space.
what are we doing? So, yeah.
Okay, so we hear people say, especially on our side of the deal, the inspection killed the deal. So can you take us a little deeper on that?
Sure.
Like, what happens after you do your work? Inspection report goes out. Now there's questions. How is that really affecting, the negotiations, and when is it killing the deal? Why does it not have to kill the deal? Like that kind of thing.
Okay. Communication is key.
Okay.
Open communication is the key to any relationship, business, professional, whatever. Let me talk to them. If I'm the inspector, let me talk to the buyers and sellers that no transaction should fall apart because of the home inspection.
Okay. Great
If
answer.
it does, I believe the buyer was looking for a way out.
Okay. That's a strong comment. Okay. And I love to hear it.
Nobody's going to save that. Don't try, because then you're just trying to force somebody to do something that they don't want to do.
Okay.
But a lot of people use the home inspection as a tool. I'm out. And they're happy about it. Let that go. But if they love the home and they want it, and that's the conversation I have with buyers.
Okay.
Do you still love this house? A lot of people, I'm going to take radon as a good example. 4.0 and above is the action level according to the Pennsylvania DEP. That's who governs the radon industry.
Okay.
Buyer will get a reading at 8, and they'll go, oh my God, it's double what it's supposed to be. Okay, take a deep breath. 8 is not something. I mean, people are running like their hair's on fire. Stop.
Right.
It's okay.
Okay.
It doesn't matter if it's 4.1 or 141.
Wow. Look
It's
at
the same
understanding that.
fix.
Yeah. Okay.
The exact same remedy. So it's not a big deal. I always ask people, first of all, what's sticking in your crawl?
Okay.
Because to know is to understand. That was my tagline when I was a real estate agent. To know is to understand. It was on my brochures. I want to know what you're looking for. I want to completely understand what's going to make you go, when you find the house that you like. And I'll help you find it.
Okay.
If it's there. If it's not, we're going to have another talk.
Yes.
So same thing here. To know is to understand. If I know what's sticking in a buyer's crawl or a seller, oftentimes the seller's just standing firm. No, I'm not fixing that. I lived with it for 25 years. They can live with it too.
Okay.
Okay.
So you're asking the why behind it all. Like, why is this so important to you?
Let's figure it out.
Right.
Sellers sometimes just feel like the buyer is trying to take them for everything. They want me to fix every little thing. And a buyer sometimes thinks that the seller's hiding stuff. Oh, you hid that. No. So I like to tell people, yes, there are those people. We acknowledge that. But I do believe from my heart it's not the majority of sellers out there that are trying to pull one over. And I use this as an example. The older gentleman that uses the gas grill lighter to light the back burner on his stove isn't trying to pull a fast one. He's done that for the past 8 months.
Right.
He doesn't even think about it.
Yep.
When we test it and it's broken, we got to put that in our report. Now buyer goes, they thought we weren't going to know.
Right.
Yeah, no, not so much.
Right.
I went to get my oil changed in my car one time, and when the guy pulled the car around, and I know, the people at the shop, when I was getting in the car, he goes, hey, Deb, you're going to have to make another appointment, come in, because the car's pulling to the right real bad. And I said, no, it isn't. He goes, yeah, it is. No, it isn't. I drive it every day. He goes,
What, did you get in the car, and as soon as
he said
that,
get in
you
the
were
car.
like,
He sat over here. He goes, take your foot off the brake. And of course it went that way. The lesson there was over the past couple months, I've been adjusting
you adjusted for it. Yeah.
I've been adjusting for
Great
the
analogy.
thing. And that's what people do in their homes. These little quirks, they adjust. They work around them. So once I settle people down, and I'm not saying anything that their agent's not telling them.
Right.
But hearing it from me, I don't have a commission at stake. They hear it from me.
Right.
So it makes things go a little smoother.
You are that middleman of it. You want it to work. You just want to provide information and help it be resolved in whatever direction people are
I
happy.
educate, you decide.
Right.
But get the emotions out of it. Stop with the her side, my side. Ugh.
Which that has to be the majority of the situations, right? It's just a perception that people have, when it comes down to that. Yeah, we do. We hear that. The inspection killed the deal. So tell me, what is kind of the protocol for when inspection is happening in the process? Because I think it can be skewed. And sometimes, admittedly, from our side of things, we're thinking, can we wait? Can we wait to pursue the deal and the search and other things? Oftentimes we can't because we know the time frame on taxes coming back and blah, blah, blah. But can you talk to us about time frame a little bit and how this works?
Sure. So the inspector is not privy to the agreement of sale. Unlike closing companies and, other people who have their hands in it, we don't get the agreement of sale. We don't want it.
Right, right. No thanks.
Right. Our job is to know it's time sensitive. Get it scheduled ASAP, turn the report around ASAP, answer any questions ASAP.
Okay.
That's it. So we know that they're usually working under a 10 to 15 day period. Once the contract is fully executed, the buyer has blank amount of days, and that's usually 10 or 15, and that's negotiated between buyer and seller.
Okay. All right. And then report is delivered within about how long?
Next business day.
Oh, that's quick.
Yeah.
I don't remember. It's been a while since I bought my house. I'm like,
So
when did it come?
we could turn them around faster because everything's automated.
Yeah.
As a writer, we talked about it at the beginning of this.
Yep.
I am a word nerd, and you would be surprised how just sitting on something for a couple of hours, an inspector will go, you know what? I need to say this about that.
Okay.
I need to word that a little differently. I need to whatever. And then they turn everything over to my processor, who is a bigger word nerd than I am. And she
How'd you find
polishes
her?
it up.
I want her.
She's my daughter.
Oh, there you go.
Sorry.
Nora's a little too young to be my word nerd yet, at least for this business.
Yeah. I'm all proud of being a best-selling author, and my daughter just blows me out of the water.
Oh, I love it.
But she polishes up the reports. If she has any questions, she asks the inspector. Or if it's too technical, this is over my head. It's going to be over the buyer's head.
Right. Because when
What
we're
are you
in it,
trying to
we
say?
understand it. We talk about that a lot too. Yeah. How can we make it so that it's,
Correct.
clear?
And user-friendly, right?
Okay. Yeah. All right. So that's that part of the process. And then you're out. Like you step out at that point, right?
We do.
For the most part?
We do.
For the most part?
But oftentimes, once they're trying to get things fixed, they know what's important to them, so they're going to ask the sellers, would you take care of that? Would you do this? Or they get estimates and ask for a lump sum of money. They ask me for those contacts because I've got them. I've been in the industry, as we said, a long time.
Sweet.
Just on my way over here, I had somebody asking me about an asbestos situation. It was an inspection that we had done. We noticed some duct tape around the joints of the ductwork. And it's probably asbestos, right? So we have to say the right words. Could be asbestos. We have to test to make sure, blah, blah, blah. But there were no friable areas. Friable is when it's broken and airborne, and we breathe those little fibers. Mesothelioma, am I saying that right? If you stay up late at night, you hear all the attorneys talk about it.
Mesothelioma. I don't even know if I said that right.
I don't know if I'm saying that right. But it's of concern. That's when it's considered hazardous, when it's friable.
Okay.
We don't see any friable areas. We just tell you it's there. We can test it if you want to. But you have to get permission from the seller to make it friable now. Who wants to do that? Leave it intact, right?
Right.
However, the lender read in the home inspection report, so now they want somebody to follow up. And they're this close to closing. So now what do? So I have a guy that is just pretty amazing. So I have a guy. Yeah, I have a guy. I always tease, I've never met him in person. Yeah. But I've given him so much business over the past 25 years. I said, I don't even know if he has children, but if he does, I put them through college. I can tell you that. Because he's so awesome. It's very rare when you find that one person that's that good.
Well, and speaking of that, we were talking about the team that we form of people that we trust, in these different intricate parts. Because there's inspection and there's title and there's real estate and, all these moving parts. So on our side of the industry, at least in Pennsylvania, because states can be very different, the buyer has the choice of who they use, the right to choose their title company. Now, we know that they are looking to their advisor, who is generally their real estate agent, to offer recommendations to them. And that's a good thing.
It is.
Because the realtors and the other people in the industry know who does a good job, who's reliable, who's timely, blah, blah, blah. But I was just curious, is that the same as my industry, that somebody could say to their realtor, I'd like to use Harmony Home Inspections? Right. That's important to know. Okay.
So quite often my work comes to me through the agents because they know, like, and trust me.
Right.
I've been at it for long enough.
That's the same with us.
Yep.
Yeah.
Often I do get people that say, hey, my cousin used a Harmony home inspection. This is who I want to use. Great introduction for me because now I'm proving our value to a new agent that I might not have done business with. So I do love those.
Yes.
But oftentimes, I mean, people just go, everybody Googles, right? Just to read the reviews. And we've gotten a lot of people that said, I came here because of the reviews.
Awesome.
So, yeah.
Rural business is everything.
It is.
You know.
The people that don't like us, that leave bad reviews, they're sellers. We have 2 of them, and they're sellers.
Oh, really?
Of course, they didn't like me. I told everything that was wrong with their home.
Right. So, I mean, I think I'll be slightly like, oh, you know.
Well, I was.
If ever so.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
I get it. Well, what else is important for your message, you know, to tell realtors, to tell buyers, to tell sellers? What do you think is the most important message, you know, coming from your industry, you as your business owner?
Well, so I think it's important for people to understand what the home inspection is.
Okay.
And how it functions. How do you use this tool? Because that's what it is. Home inspections were born to help reduce liability. So buyers are going in eyes wide open. They can decide, I'm okay with that. I've had people accept things that were wrong with homes that shocked me, but they wanted something like the GFCI's fixed because electrical scares the heck out of me, right?
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, you have a bowed foundation wall, but okay.
Yeah.
We talk about it, you know. Uncle Guido will take care of that. He knows what he's doing.
Okay.
But I don't know anything about electrical, so I want those GFC. And I'm thinking $5 on a YouTube video versus a bowed foundation wall, but this is their comfort level.
Again, yeah, what is their why behind it?
What's important to me is going to be way different than what's important to you or him or her or them. So get to know that.
Okay.
You know? So once we do know that, as I mentioned, we can talk through it. But I think it's important for people to know that the way most home inspection reports are structured is there's columns. Satisfactory, pretty self-explanatory. Refer to summary, ruh-roh, something is wrong here.
Okay.
We need to pay attention to it. I don't know, I flipped the thermostat on and the furnace didn't come on. That's an issue right now.
Yes.
Serviceable, that's the one that gets most people. What the heck is that? That is the system or component was performing its intended function, but there's something a little wonky going on.
Okay.
Right? It's functioning, but it's short-circuited, like the HVAC system.
Okay.
It's functioning.
We just kick it at night.
Yeah, right?
Again.
So, right? It doesn't have to be in the summary to be something that the buyers ask the sellers to address.
Okay.
I want this fixed. I want it to work properly. Sellers will say it's not in the summary. I don't care. So people need to know how the industry set up and how it's used.
Okay.
And when we talk about a home inspector and the report, I always tell people the best way I can describe it to you is we are your general practitioner. You need, you get a new job, you go get a physical. We're that doctor. We're that general physician. We know a little bit about everything.
Okay.
You know?
Then we can refer you
to the heart
experts
specialist.
on it,
I
right.
love my GP, but if my heart is wonky, I don't want her cutting my chest open, okay?
Right.
I want her sending me to somebody that does that for a living.
Yep.
You don't want me taking your HVAC system apart.
Right.
I'm going to tell you what's wrong with it and send them to somebody who's good at it.
And then you have the not the ability to, but you're permitted to direct people to people that you trust as far as making referrals. How does that
Yeah,
work?
I mean, I don't really refer people more than anything. Tell me who you're thinking of using.
Okay. I'll tell you what I think. After 40 years, I mean, I may have crossed paths with them. I get it. Well, I'll tell you what. Let's talk about the business side of things for a second, which we're going to do a whole nother podcast together.
Yes,
because,
we are.
You know, with the club and talking about entrepreneurs and just our businesses over the years, we'll have a much broader conversation about this.
Okay.
But, you know, what was your love for the industry? You just love helping people. I mean, you've been in this industry, we've said, for a very long time. You know, where are you going with it? What's going on with the business? You know?
So originally got into it because I was a real estate agent. And I gave all of my business to one home inspector. And it wasn't because he was that great. He was just the best of the pickings. Okay. And I thought, geez,
I could do this better.
somebody could do this much better.
Okay.
And so I just thought a little bedside manner, because the guy was a little arrogant, and follow up, and if
So you clearly saw this as a really important part of the process as a realtor.
it really is.
And you were like, oh, it could just be done softer, better, and cleaner, and maybe in a way that eliminates a lot of that angst between buyers and sellers.
Right. And again, the mommy touch, the female touch, let's just make sure everybody understands before they do a knee-jerk reaction, And the ability for me to talk, agents that use me all the time know, I'm going to just have them call you because you're going to talk them through this. Even though this agent might be able to, it's going to just coming from me be a whole different conversation.
Right.
With a different tone to it,
I get it.
And knowing people, and when you get to a certain age.
A beautiful age.
Thank you.
Better than ever, girl.
I've earned my right to tell people things,
And you do. I notice that every year with you. You do more and more. You're like, well, that's not really true.
Yeah. Let's talk about that a little bit.
Right.
I did say to a seller on the phone not so long ago, he kind of ran at me because I had something in my report. And, both sides asked me to talk to the seller because he was just being obstinate about something. And I knew I could just tell I could kind of razz him a little bit. So I let him rattle for a while. And I said to him, so let me just ask you a question. Do you think that I woke up that morning that I did your inspection and said, I'm going to be a jagoff to the guy on Hill Street?
Yeah.
And he was quiet for half a minute, and then he goes, all right. And I said, so let me tell you why we did what we did and said what we said.
Yeah.
And it was actually a broken window. It was just a cracked window pane.
Yeah.
He's like, but the window functions, Debbie. And I said, I understand, but it's broken. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but it functions. Yeah, but it's broken.
Yeah.
So
what are we gonna do about that?
Yeah, so he was like, I get it. And I said to him, seriously, I don't want you to walk around feeling like everybody here is in cahoots to get you to buy this buyer a new window. It is broken. And I said,
maybe they won't care. Maybe they want to put all new windows in next year.
Right, but they did want it fixed.
But they did want it fixed.
That was the reason I was having the conversation with him. So I said to him, why are you being so here? And he's like, because my house, we did everything before we listed it. We fixed everything. We wanted it to be perfect. And I said, you forgot the window.
Yeah.
So he kind of said, all right, Deb, I'm hanging up now. But he fixed the window. So now there are people I wouldn't be able to do that with. But I could tell that I could do that with this guy. Again, you get to a certain age, like, okay, I can kind of mess with this guy a little bit.
Yeah.
Oh,
my gosh.
So
my team knows that about me, too. I really, like you, I am, and all of them, Ryan, I hope at this point after a year with me and my team downstairs at the property closers, I say it flat out, I'm not a micromanager. Mm-hmm. I really have handpicked each one of my employees. Some of them I've recruited over a year's time.
Right.
Because I know I can trust them. And then I can go out and do what I do best, which is a lot of connecting and networking. And then I really try to hand that baby off and say, I know you're going to take care of this baby for me.
Yeah.
But when hard conversations have to be had, I want to have them.
I do.
I don't want to put that on my team. It's when I'm most proud if I can take a conversation and not convince somebody of something but
come to terms
come
with
to a level of understanding and bring everybody to a common ground where we can find resolution and respect each other.
Yep. Education. Really and truly is about just educating. This is why it is the way it is. You don't have to fix that window, but why would you not?
Yeah, why would you not?
Come on, you know.
Well, you have been in the industry so long. Me too. I think we're doing a pretty good job. I think people like what we do because I think we're very transparent. Mm-hmm. We know we make mistakes at times and all of those things.
Own it.
But you got to own it.
You got to own it.
Because pretty much everything is fixable.
Right.
So that's kind of one of the common topics that we have when I bring different people in from the industry. Because I think I'm trying to build a bridge that we really are all on the same team.
Yeah.
You know?
We are.
And
we are.
We're trying to help people achieve their dreams, whether it's buying, selling, and doing it in a manner that we're all semi-enjoying ourselves a little bit.
Right.
And feeling fulfilled in this work.
Sure.
So.
Sure. And we do know how to enjoy ourselves and have fun at it.
Yeah.
And, you mentioned something about your team where, you've recruited them over a period of time. I have people that have been with me for 20 plus years, 15, 10, 20.
And you're busy. You've been talking about hiring again.
Yeah, we just did. Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Good
So,
deal.
yeah, because, you got people that have to retire.
Yeah.
What's
why?
that?
I know. Who has to retire? Oh my gosh. Well, thank you so much for coming on today.
It's a joy always to be with
Always.
you. So.
We could chat for hours.
We
I
could.
know.
And we will when we turn this off.
Yes, we did before. We will after. And let's get set for our next podcast so we can just
Ready, girl.
Yeah,
I'm
talk
ready.
about all the other things.
Yeah.
And I am writing a book. You're helping me.
I am helping you.
So that's
I'm
a little
gonna
teaser.
ask you
but
about that homework assignment I gave
know.
you. So
Sometimes I'm not good with homework assignments, but I come around. You just have to keep poking me.
wag my mama finger at you.
Okay, tell everybody how they can find you.
Sure.
So that they know when they're purchasing their home, when they're referring, how to get to you.
Absolutely. It's pretty easy. A Harmony Home Inspection. Our phone number is 412-657-2191. That's my office. I have job coordinators that just take care of everything. All you got to do is give them the address, give them the buyer's information, and we do the rest. We are also online. My website is keytopeaceofmind.com.
Love that.
Because that's what we pride ourselves on being.
keytopeaceofmind.com. Love it. And then, when they have their questions, they come to Mama Deb.
They do, right here.
Which has been one of your names in the past, hasn't it? Wasn't it Mama Deb?
Yeah, with my children's books.
Yes.
That was my media handle.
Yeah.
I did a couple of lifestyle shows and was the in-house family parenting coach. Dear Mama Deb.
Dear Mama Deb.
Ooh, ooh, ooh.
Well, we love you, dear Mama Deb. Thank you for
back.
being with us today.
Always. Mwah.